You've been noticing it, even if you haven't said the words out loud. Certain moments in your life lately have felt too aligned, too sharply timed, too precise to dismiss as coincidence. The right message shows up at the exact moment you need clarity. A person reaches out just when you're questioning something important. A thought passes through your mind, and within hours you see something in your environment that mirrors it back to you. These experiences feel strange, almost surreal, but part of you knows they mean something. They carry a weight that ordinary coincidences don't. They linger in your mind because they are not random, they are intentional. When synchronicities begin to increase, it is often the first sign that divine intervention is already in motion. These are the moments when life whispers to you through patterns, symbols, timing, and subtle nudges. They are designed to get your attention without overwhelming you. They guide you gently, urging you to notice the invisible thread connecting your experiences. Each event feels like a message from something beyond you, pointing you toward a direction you may not fully understand yet. You may find yourself sensing things before they happen. You walk into a room and immediately feel the energy shift. You think about someone you haven't spoken to in months, and suddenly they contact you. You feel a push to stop, to wait, or to take action, even when there is no logical reason for it. These intuitive impulses have started becoming stronger, more frequent, and harder to ignore. And the truth is, they're not meant to be ignored. They are signals. They are confirmations that something higher is guiding your steps. If you are watching this video right now, it is not by accident. Messages like this do not appear in front of people who are standing still. They appear for those who are already being shifted, redirected, or elevated by forces they cannot yet see clearly. The timing of this moment is itself a sign. It is one more piece of evidence that divine intervention has already begun unfolding in your life. You were led here because you're meant to understand what's happening to you on a deeper level. Life does not always reveal its plans openly. Sometimes it works through small, deliberate movements. Sometimes it speaks through intuition instead of words. Sometimes it pushes you out of situations gently, without explanation, because it knows you won't leave on your own. And sometimes it places messages like this directly in your path, not to scare you, not to confuse you, but to affirm what your spirit has already sensed. Something beyond your control is guiding you toward a new chapter. This phase you're in, the heightened awareness, the unusual timing, the sense that you're being watched over or redirected, is a phase where logic begins to lose its grip. Things that shouldn't connect somehow do. Things that shouldn't work out suddenly fall into place. Life starts behaving with purpose. And the more you pay attention, the clearer it becomes that you are not walking alone. You are being guided. And now that you are here, listening to these words, allow this moment to serve as confirmation. Allow it to validate the experiences you've been questioning. Divine intervention is not coming, it has already started. And the signs have been appearing all around you, preparing you for what's next. If this message resonates with what you've been feeling, make sure you like this video, share it with someone who may need this clarity, and subscribe to the channel to continue receiving messages created specifically for the chosen ones. When divine intervention begins in a person's life, it rarely announces itself with thunder, lightning, or dramatic miracles that break the laws of nature. Instead, it slips in quietly, rearranging small pieces of your reality in ways that feel subtle at first, yet unmistakably intentional once you begin paying attention. The signs often emerge in moments you would normally overlook, moments that seem ordinary until you realize how precisely they fit together. This is how divine intervention works in the early stages, not by overwhelming you, but by guiding you through a series of delicate, perfectly timed movements that reveal themselves gradually and intelligently. One of the clearest signs that divine intervention has started is the sudden increase in synchronicities. These are not random coincidences. They are meaningful alignments that feel like the universe is speaking directly to you. You may think of a concept, and within minutes you hear someone mention it. You may ask silently for clarity, and an answer appears on a billboard, in a song lyric, in a comment you stumble across, or in a conversation you accidentally overhear. These synchronicities often carry a strange emotional charge, not fear, not confusion, but a deep sense of recognition, as though you are remembering something rather than learning it for the first time. They feel like confirmations because they are. Alongside synchronicities, you may find yourself encountering exactly the right people at exactly the right moments. Sometimes these connections appear in ways that seem impossible to explain. You meet someone who tells you something you desperately needed to hear, even though they have no idea what you were going through. A stranger offers advice that aligns perfectly with your thoughts. A friend you haven't spoken to in years contacts you at the moment you're facing a major decision. These interactions feel too precise to be accidental. They feel orchestrated. They feel like someone or something is moving pieces behind the scenes to ensure that you receive guidance, support, or direction at the very moment you need it. Divine intervention often works through people because human connection is one of the most powerful ways to transfer insight. These encounters may be brief, but they leave an impact lasting far longer than the moment itself. You walk away feeling lighter, more certain, or unexpectedly understood. And as these encounters repeat themselves, you begin to sense a pattern. It becomes obvious that life is intentionally placing certain individuals on your path, not to control you, but to guide you. Another sign is the sudden strengthening of your intuition. You may have always had gut feelings, but recently they've become sharper, more urgent, and more accurate. You sense things before they happen. You feel a pull towards certain decisions without being able to explain why. You feel discomfort around paths that do not align with your growth, even if those paths look logical on the surface. And you feel a strange sense of peace around choices that might appear risky or unfamiliar, but somehow feel right. This heightened intuition is not random. It is a sign that divine intervention is tuning your inner compass to help you navigate upcoming changes. Intuition becomes stronger when you are being guided because you need it to make decisions that logic alone cannot handle. Divine intervention prepares you emotionally and spiritually long before anything changes physically. That inner voice you're hearing more clearly now is part of the process. It is your connection point to something greater than you, something watching over the path ahead. This intuitive rise often happens without your effort. You didn't train for it. You didn't choose it. It simply activates because it is needed. You may also experience shifts happening around you without any action on your part. A job opportunity ends suddenly, without warning. A relationship dissolves in a way you couldn't prevent. Plans you were committed to fall apart. People leave. Situations change. And although these events might feel disruptive, something inside you recognizes that they are clearing space for what's coming next. Divine intervention removes what no longer aligns with your path before you consciously realize that you've outgrown it. You might feel confused at first, wondering why things are shifting when you didn't ask for change. But over time, you begin to see how perfectly these changes position you for the next phase of your life. Precise shifts like these can be unsettling because they challenge your sense of control. You're used to pushing, planning, and managing life through effort, but divine intervention doesn't require effort, it requires surrender. When things start moving without your involvement, it's a sign that life is rearranging itself to match the frequency of your growth. You are being aligned, even if you don't yet understand where you're being guided. Divine intervention also expresses itself through protection. You may be stopped from going somewhere at the last minute, only to discover later that it was a blessing. You may lose interest in something that once fascinated you, only to realize later that it would have led you down the wrong path. You may experience delays that frustrate you in the moment, only to learn that those delays prevented you from stepping into situations that were not aligned with your higher good. This type of protection often feels inconvenient, but with time, its purpose becomes clear. It is one of the most powerful ways divine intervention works, not just by adding, but by preventing, redirecting, or removing. As these signs build, you may notice that life begins to feel strangely coordinated, almost as though everything is being choreographed. Small events connect to larger ones, insights appear right when you need them. You begin to feel watched over, supported, and guided. It's not that challenges disappear, rather, you begin to sense that the challenges themselves are part of something purposeful. You experience moments of deep inner knowing, Brief flashes where you understand that everything happening is leading you towards something significant. Once recognized, these patterns become impossible to ignore. They stand out against the noise of normal life because they do not behave like coincidence. They behave like intention. They behave like guidance. They behave like divine intervention. And the truth is, they are. Divine intervention has already begun. It is shaping you, directing you, supporting you, and preparing you. The signs are all around you, not to overwhelm you, but to awaken you to what is happening behind the scenes. Your role is simply to notice, to trust, and to allow the guidance to unfold step by step. When you understand the signs, the path ahead becomes clearer. What once felt random becomes meaningful. What once felt confusing begins to make sense. And you realize that you are not moving through life alone. You are being led by something greater, something that wants you to reach the next level of your purpose. Divine intervention is never random. It does not appear in a person's life simply because they are struggling or hoping or wishing for change. It emerges when something within them has reached a particular threshold, a state of inner maturity that makes them capable of stepping into a new phase of their journey. If divine intervention is happening to you now, it is because you have already crossed an invisible line, one you may not have consciously noticed, but one that marks the end of one version of yourself and the beginning of another. This moment is not accidental. It is not a coincidence. It is the activation point of your next chapter. For a long time, you may have moved through life trying to understand your purpose, learning from your experiences, and facing situations that tested your resilience. Each challenge, each setback, each triumph, and each moment of confusion formed part of your preparation. Growth never happens all at once. It accumulates in layers. You have been shedding old beliefs, old fears, old identities, even when you did not realize it. There were moments when you felt lost, but even in those moments, something in you was strengthening. Your awareness was expanding. Your emotional depth was increasing. Your capacity to perceive truth was sharpening. All of this has brought you to where you are now. Divine intervention activates when a person can no longer remain in the old version of their life. It begins when your soul becomes too large for the structures you built around it. You might have felt this happening over time, the growing discomfort in familiar places, the sense that your current routines no longer match your inner state, the emotional weight that comes from staying in situations you've outgrown. These sensations are not signs of failure, they are indicators of readiness. They signal that you have learned what you needed to learn from your current chapter, and now life must evolve. The chosen one does not receive intervention because they are favored or special in a superficial way. They receive intervention because they carry a deeper mission, one that requires clarity, strength, and alignment. Divine intervention appears in the lives of those who are stepping into a purpose that influences not just their personal journey, but the energy of the spaces and people around them. You become a vessel for something greater, and to prepare you for that, life begins to guide you with more precision. This is why your path may have felt more intense than others. This is why you have faced battles that seemed heavier, moments of darkness that felt deeper, and breakthroughs that felt more transformative. Those experiences were not punishments, they were refinements. The chosen one is shaped, strengthened, and awakened because their journey requires them to operate from a higher level of consciousness. Divine intervention is not a shortcut. It is a response to your readiness. It is activated because you have demonstrated the resilience, awareness, and inner alignment necessary to move forward with purpose. Right now, you may notice that life feels different in ways you cannot fully explain. Some things are falling away abruptly, others are coming together with surprising ease. The timing of events feels intentional, opportunities appear unexpectedly. People show up in your life with roles that seem predestined. Certain paths open while others close. These changes might confuse you if you interpret them through the lens of logic alone. But divine intervention does not operate through logic, it operates through alignment. You are being guided, not disrupted. You are being directed, not thrown off course. What feels uncertain at first is actually the beginning of clarity. This transition is not chaotic, it is coordinated, it is precise. It is unfolding exactly as it needs to, even when you cannot see the full picture yet. One of the reasons divine intervention is happening now is because you have reached a point where certain old patterns can no longer hold you. The beliefs you once carried have weakened. The fears that once defined you have dissolved. The doubts that once kept you still have lost their power. Your spirit has expanded beyond the limitations you once accepted. Divine intervention begins when internal change becomes too large to ignore. Your inner world has shifted enough that your outer world must now realign with it. Think about the ways you have changed recently. Your perspective is different. Your priorities are different. The way you respond to situations has matured. You have become more discerning, more intuitive, more aware of what truly matters. These shifts are not small, they are foundational. They have prepared you for an entirely new path, one that requires you to let go of outdated roles and step into a higher identity. This is why divine intervention is happening now. You are ready for what your past self was not yet prepared to handle. Another reason divine intervention activates is because timing matters. Life does not move you forward when you want it. It moves you when the time is synchronistically aligned. There is a greater rhythm at play, one that connects your journey to other people, events, and circumstances that must also fall into place. Sometimes divine timing delays certain things until all the pieces are ready, and sometimes it accelerates your path, pulling you forward faster than you expected, because the opening for your next chapter is here, now. If divine intervention is happening in your life, it means the timing is finally right, not just for you, but for everything connected to you. There is also an element of protection involved. Divine intervention often appears when there are paths you must avoid, traps you cannot see, or situations that would derail your growth. You may feel pushed away from certain environments without understanding why. You may lose interest in something that once captivated you. You may feel an abrupt end to a relationship or an opportunity you thought you wanted. This is not rejection, it is redirection. The intervention is not stopping you, it is saving you from paths that do not lead to your highest alignment. For the chosen one, periods of divine intervention are also linked to new missions. These missions may not be dramatic or grand in a worldly sense. They might be internal missions, like healing generational wounds, shifting patterns, elevating consciousness, or becoming a stabilizing force for others. Or they may be external missions that call you to step into leadership, creativity, service, influence, or authenticity. Whatever your mission is, divine intervention ensures that you are placed in the right environments, connected with the right people, and aligned with the right opportunities to fulfill it. This guiding phase is often misunderstood because from the outside, it appears as though your life is changing rapidly, unpredictably, or even uncontrollably. But internally, something within you feels strangely calm, as though a part of you understands what is unfolding. You might not know the destination, but you trust the movement. You sense that something larger is at work, and that sense is correct. The events happening in your life right now are intentional. They are not coincidences. They are not random disruptions. They are orchestrated movements designed to elevate you, to protect you, to align you, and to prepare you. You are being guided into a chapter that requires your highest self, and divine intervention is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. You are not in a season of chaos. You are in a season of alignment. Everything that is shifting with purpose. Everything that is ending with meaning. Everything that is beginning by design. Divine intervention is happening now because you are ready now. Ready for clarity, ready for elevation, ready for purpose, ready for the life you were always meant to step into. When divine intervention becomes active in your life, the shifts that unfold are not random movements. They point toward a very specific direction. You are being guided into a future that aligns more closely with your purpose, your potential, and the truth of who you are becoming. These shifts may appear subtle at first, but they carry deep significance. They are the early signals of a path that is opening ahead of you, a path that will look very different from the one you've walked until now. One of the strongest directions divine intervention leads you toward is the emergence of new opportunities. These opportunities may come through changes in your career, your passions, your long-term goals, or your sense of purpose. You may begin noticing new ideas forming in your thoughts, ideas that excite you but also challenge you. You may find yourself feeling drawn toward possibilities you once dismissed because suddenly they feel attainable. When divine intervention is at work, doors open in unexpected ways. A conversation leads to an opportunity. A random encounter turns into a connection. Something you've been waiting for suddenly becomes available. These moments feel intentional because they are. You are being placed in situations that align with the next version of your life, not the old one. But it's not just about external opportunities. Divine intervention elevates your purpose as well. It deepens your understanding of why you are here, what you are meant to contribute, and how you are meant to evolve. The things that used to motivate you may lose their pull, while new motivations rise within you with surprising clarity. You begin to feel called towards something larger, something that resonates with your values and your spirit. This elevation is not forced, it emerges naturally as your awareness expands. You start recognizing your own potential in a way you didn't before, and this recognition pulls you toward a direction that aligns with growth rather than stagnation. As divine intervention guides you forward, it also protects you from paths that are not aligned with your highest good. You may not always see this protection clearly, especially in the moment. It might look like rejection, failure, or delay. But in reality, these moments are blockages that keep you from stepping into situations that would drain you or derail your progress. You might feel frustrated when something doesn't work out, but later, you realize it wasn't meant for you. This protective guidance works quietly but powerfully. It closes the wrong doors so that the right ones can open. And over time, you learn to trust these closures just as much as the openings. Another major direction divine intervention leads you toward is alignment with the right people. As your life shifts, so does your circle. You start meeting individuals who inspire you, support you, challenge you, or elevate you. These connections often appear unexpectedly, but they feel meaningful immediately. They may share your values, your ambitions, your energy, or your vision for the future. These people come into your life because you are entering a chapter where growth requires collaboration, reflection, or connection with souls who resonate with your new frequency. At the same time, people who no longer match your vibration begin to drift away. This can be painful, but it is necessary. Divine intervention does not remove people to hurt you. It removes them to make space for those who are aligned with where you're going, not where you've been. As your environment shifts and your connections evolve, your awareness also begins to expand. You start seeing the world differently. You understand your experiences from a higher perspective. You recognize patterns you once ignored. You begin to sense the deeper meaning behind events. This expanded awareness allows you to navigate life with more clarity and less fear. You become more grounded, more intuitive, and more connected to your inner truth. This inner transformation is one of the most powerful aspects of divine intervention. It changes not only what you see, but how you interpret what you see. It moves you from confusion to understanding, from fear to trust, from hesitation to confidence. However, it is important to understand that divine intervention does not make you passive. It does not remove your responsibility. You are not meant to sit back and wait for life to unfold. You are a participant in your transformation. The intervention provides the signs, the opportunities, the protection, and the alignment, but you must respond. You must make the choices. You must take the steps. You must trust your intuition and follow where it leads. Divine intervention guides, but you decide how fully you walk into the path being revealed. Your willingness to act is what determines the speed and depth of your transformation. If you ignore the signs, the process slows. If you resist the changes, life pushes harder. If you listen, trust, and move forward with intention, the path becomes clearer and the opportunities become more abundant. This is a collaboration between you and the force guiding you. Your intuition functions as the communication channel. When you sense something is right, that feeling is not random, it is direction. When you feel something is wrong, that too is guidance. You play an active role in shaping how your next chapter unfolds, and your choices matter deeply. The direction divine intervention is leading you toward is not simply a new phase of life. It is an elevated version of your life. A life with greater alignment, deeper purpose, stronger connections, and a more conscious version of yourself at its center. You are being guided out of patterns that no longer serve you and into a reality that reflects your growth. You are moving toward a chapter where the external world matches your internal expansion. This is not just change, it is transformation. And every moment leading up to now has prepared you for it. The intervention happening in your life is not here to confuse or overwhelm you. It is here to elevate you. It is here to guide you into the life you were always meant to live. The new opportunities, the new purpose, the new people, the new awareness, they are not coming someday. They are already forming. And each step you take toward them brings the future into clearer focus. You are not being placed on this path. You are choosing it, moment by moment, through your willingness to grow, to trust, and to follow the guidance that is unfolding before you. Divine intervention may be the force opening the way, but you are the one walking it. And where it is leading you is far more meaningful, powerful, and aligned than anything you are leaving behind. As you arrive at the end of this message, take a moment to look back at everything you've been feeling and experiencing in your life recently. The unusual timing, the unexpected clarity, the sudden changes, the internal pull towards something new, the sense that something greater is moving through your circumstances. None of these things are random. They are not coincidences, and they are not mistakes. They are signs. They are confirmations. They are evidence that divine intervention is already active in your life, guiding you through a moment that is far more important than it may appear on the surface. When life begins to shift in ways that feel unfamiliar but strangely aligned, it is often because a higher force has begun rearranging your path for your elevation. You might not fully understand why certain things are ending, or why new things are emerging so quickly. You might not grasp the significance of the timing, or the synchronicities that keep finding you. But your spirit knows. A deeper part of you has already recognized that you're in a transition guided by something intentional, something intelligent, something far beyond ordinary circumstance. This intervention is not arriving to warn you, and it is not showing up to punish you. Divine intervention does not appear because something is wrong. It appears because something is ready. You are ready. It is stepping in to elevate you, to strengthen you, and to move you into a chapter that your old self could not access. It is clearing paths that no longer support your growth and opening ones that align with the higher version of who you're becoming. The shifts you are feeling are not signs of chaos. They are signs of alignment. They are the first movements of a new destiny unfolding. Everything that has felt strange or unexpected lately, the timing, the endings, the beginnings, the intuitive nudges, the sense of being guided, has been part of a coordinated process designed to position you where you need to be. You are not falling apart. You are being redirected. You are not being left behind. You are being led forward. Divine intervention steps into your life only at critical moments, moments where the decisions you make and the paths you choose will shape your long-term future. It steps in because the next phase of your life is too important for you to navigate alone. And even though this path may feel unfamiliar, you are not walking it without support. You are not moving blindly. You are not left to figure everything out by yourself. You are being guided in ways you can feel, in ways you can sense, and in ways that reveal themselves little by little with perfect timing. You may not have all the answers right now, but clarity will arrive as you move forward. Each step you take opens the next. Each decision you make reveals more of the path. This is how divine intervention works. It leads you through alignment, through intuition, through synchronicity, and through the subtle movements of life itself. So if you've been feeling these shifts, if your life has been changing in ways you can't quite explain but you know are meaningful, understand this clearly. You are not imagining it. You are being guided. You are being protected. You are being elevated into a chapter that reflects your growth, your strength, and your higher purpose. You are not alone in this. You are being led with intention. And if this message resonates with what you've been experiencing, if you feel the truth of these words in your spirit, then make sure you like this video, share it with someone who needs this reminder, and subscribe to the channel for more messages created specifically for the chosen ones.